pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. We don't have a presentation on the agenda, so we'll move to the consent calendar, which consists of approval of minutes for the July 9th meeting. Is there any, if everyone had a chance to review the minutes, is there any objection to approving the minutes as presented? Hearing none, the consent calendar and minutes are approved. Commission staff presentations, updates, and reports. We'll start with the LA County Sheriff's.
Good morning, Commission. I'm Deputy Kit Groupie, Lancaster Sheriff Station, and I'm going to present the comp stat for the city of Lancaster and the unincorporated area for June of 2025. We're going to start out with criminal homicide, total incidents. Let me go back here. Excuse me real quick. Total incidents in 2025 in the city of Lancaster is 9, with 2 in the unincorporated area, for a total of 11, which from the 1 year change, year to date from 2025 to 24 is down in the city of Lancaster 25%, not applicable for the 5-year change, and it's got 100% increase just because the number is so low. If one changes that, it increases it greatly. But overall, it's decreased at 15.38%. Forcible rape in the city of Lancaster is at a total of 47, with 4 in the unincorporated area for a total of 51. That's a 42.42% increase within the city. The unincorporated is a decrease at 63.64%, with a total increase of 15.91%. Robberies in the city of Lancaster are total at 147, with 17 in the unincorporated area for a total of 164. In the city, that's going to be a 14.84% increase, and a drop in the unincorporated area at 5.56% for a total increase of 12.33%. Aggravated assaults are at 440 in the city, unincorporated area 60 for a total of 500, with a decrease in the city 9.84%, increase in the county area at 13.21%, with a total average drop of 7.58%. Burglaries in the city of Lancaster are at 279, with 58 in the unincorporated area for a total of 337, which brings the average down to 17.46% in the city, with an increase of 3.57% in the unincorporated area for a total drop of 14.47%. Larceny theft in the city of Lancaster is at 540, with 69 in the unincorporated area for a total of 609, which is a decrease in the city of 9.09%, a drop in the unincorporated area at 24.18%, and an overall drop at 11.09%. Grand theft auto is at 613 in the city of Lancaster, 111 in the unincorporated area for a total of 724. That brings the percentage down within the city limits of 3.01%, and a decrease in the unincorporated area at 45.32%, which is an overall drop of 13.29%. Arsons in the city of Lancaster are at 24, 6 in the unincorporated area for a total of 30. It's an increase at 41.18% within the city. A decrease in the county area at 57.14, with an overall drop of 3.23%. For the total Part 1 crimes, it's 2,099 within the city, 327 in the unincorporated area for a total of 2,426. That's overall drop within the city limits at 6.38%. Overall in the county area at 26.85%, with an overall average drop at 9.78%.
Hey, do we think that the grand theft is that from all the work you guys have been putting in? And if so, congratulations, just seeing that that number went down considerably on our grand theft.
I have a little notation here when it comes to the grand theft. In June of 2025, there were 85 GTAs, it says, with the decrease of 3.1%. 2 of those were attempt only. 46 of the vehicles stolen have been recovered, with 30 of those being recovered in Lancaster Station area. With the most common vehicles are Chevy Silverados and Hyundai Elantras. 10 arrests have been made. I think the accountability now that people are being held to answer for auto thefts compared to last year at this time probably has a huge difference in what's happening.
Well, it's good to see.
Good, awesome. Were there any other questions?
I'll just add to that real quick too, that we have partnered with the Targeted Regional Auto Theft Prevention Task Force, the LANCAP team, who traditionally handles robberies, but we've kind of focused on the GTAs also. And they've partnered up with TRAP, and they're doing 2 operations a month on auto theft prevention and basically operations. They just did one last night, actually, so.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Long time no see.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I see there's some interesting number on the arson, and that it increased very substantially. But in the past, that numbers increased during the winter time, and because of the homeless people issues, they trying to get warm. But it's not the season we have that kind of increase over here. Is something to do with the brush fire?
I think when it comes to arsons, those numbers being lower when 1 or 2 happen, and there were actually 5 arsons in the city to make that increase. It's telling me that basically this information from our crime analysts is that 3 incidents were in or next to buildings, and then 2 incidents were burned vehicles. And then 1 involved an elementary school that had been broken into twice in June. I understand what you're saying when it comes to wintertime and warming fires, stuff like that. So I don't have exact details as far as why the arsons are occurring. Anytime a vehicle is stolen, generally, if it's, often these cars are burned after they're stolen. So we have to take a separate report. So at the same time, we're taking a grand theft auto report. Additionally, we have to pull an arson stat as well. So some of these could be the same incident. However, it's going to increase your arson statistics due to the fact that those cars were burned.
I see. Thank you.
Arrests for the month of June, comparatively speaking from last year, June of 24. June of 24 was at 359, and we're at 367 arrests for June of 25. Here's your City of Lancaster Part 1 crime hotspot areas. That's going to pretty much go and compare to calls for service, being very similar on the hotspot areas. And then this is our calls for service observation only. Anytime a deputy sheriff creates an observation, meaning a flag down or a traffic stop, pedestrian stop, anything like that, these are the areas where that is occurring. And if you look, the deputies are being proactive, and they are creating observations in the same areas that those Part 1 crimes are occurring. We'll go to the City of Lancaster traffic data for June of 25. Total fatal crashes is 1. Total injury crashes is 58. Non-injury crashes, 73. Number of citations issued, 181. And there were 34 DUI-related arrests for the month. Were there any questions? Okay.
Just one more question.
Yes, sir.
When I compared the the hotspot area and course only hotspot area. There is one, I noticed the one difference, one on Sierra Highway and Avenue G. In the part one crime hotspot area, there's a big red dot up there. And what's out there? And the Sierra Highway and Avenue G, why is a high crime area?
I would have to zoom in on the map, but I believe there is
You see what I mean?
some sort of residential park, some sort of, I believe there's a mobile home park over there.
Yeah, but you can.
Sierra and G,
Not this one, the other one.
the part one?
You see the red dot up there in the Sierra Highway and
Right.
Avenue G?
I'll check before the meeting's over with my crime analyst and find out what that's related to. I know we went to several calls for service out there with some family-related issues last month, so, but I don't know if that's related. But I will find out with my crime analyst, and I'll get you that information before the meeting's over.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Were there any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Not so much a question, just wanted to point out is, the year-to-date change, or the one-year changes are incredible. And I just want to thank everybody in law enforcement for helping make that happen. I know when you look at the 5-year, one thing I would just remind anyone looking at the numbers is, looking back 5 years was just a few months into the pandemic and people staying at home and getting, so it was a different kind of environment for where people were.
Right.
And so I feel like those numbers, while helpful, are not quite as informative given the changes and the things that were going on at the time. But the almost 10% drop since last year is incredible.
Yeah, I would agree. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have the California Highway Patrol.
Good morning. It's nice to see you all again. I've been here now about 90 days as the commander at Antelope Valley CHP. And the last time I was here, I was looking for a place to be. And I'm happy to report that I'm a current resident of Palmdale. I purchased a home there, and my family and myself were committed to the community. And and that means committed to the traffic safety and the overall safety within the community. I do have some good news, regarding our staffing. We are currently at full staff at the Antelope Valley CHP. Now, there's a little caveat there. We had 7 new trainees show up this past Monday. And we also have 4 that are in about the middle of their training. So we have 11 in training. And I would say about the 4th quarter of this year, we'll see the full benefit of being fully staffed. Because, of course, while we're training, it takes another officer to shadow that person for about 90 days. So we're looking forward to that. Also happy to report that today, for the first time in quite a while, I was able to remove my mourning ribbon from my badge. So, Lord willing, we'll keep that off for quite some time. A perfect segue to that is last Saturday evening, maybe you heard or didn't hear, but we had a traffic collision on the freeway on the 14 by Soledad where a CHP vehicle rolled over several times. Humbly, I'll say that we caused the crash, so there's no one else to blame for that. It's one of our new guys who has about maybe 2 or 3 weeks behind the wheel, and he was driving a little over his head. So I mention it right after the tribute of mourning ribbons coming off because that could have very easily been a tragedy for us here. So I can assure you that that's going to put a significant emphasis on the training and driving as we move forward. That individual will have a significant amount of driver awareness training, defensive driving training, and so forth before he gets the keys back into a patrol vehicle.
He's doing okay,
Yeah, the most important part, the most important part, I'm sorry, is both of them sustained, while hospitalized, both of them have been released from the hospital, CT scans negative, and are doing well. So that's the good news.
That's good.
For sure. In June, I noticed an uptick in unbelted fatalities. Starting the beginning of July, I requested that our folks go out there and actively increase their focus on unbelted drivers here in Lancaster and Palmdale. And we've managed to increase our citations in that area up 18%. Off-highway vehicles and mini bikes. I'm sure you've heard that there's quite concern in Lancaster proper, and also I've got a constituent complaint out of Kathleen Barger's district off Pear Blossom. So this last weekend, we partnered with Lancaster Police Department to combat these motorists, I'll call them, because we all see them on our streets here in Lancaster and out in the county areas. It's been a while, but I myself got into pursuit. I'm glad to see I haven't completely lost it. That pursuit led us to a residence where we apprehended the motorist for a felony evading charge, but also at that residence, lo and behold, they led us to a place where these mini bikes are being manufactured and repaired. So there are quite a few of them there. So I'm hoping that the Lancaster Police Department's going to follow up on that, and hopefully we get something positive as a result of all this. Also, out there in the county, by T8 and 52nd Street, the community out there has experienced, yes.
Sir, sorry to interrupt, going back to that, were they selling the bikes at that location?
It remains to be seen. I'll let the Lancaster Police Department speak to that.
Yes, sir. They were selling them, and in fact, doing maintenance on them. So we're going after it. It's going to be dealt with.
I would say just, you may want to consider it even, I know our state legislative reps aren't here, but the, going back to my old job, you might bring in the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. One of the few things that the state will enforce is when they don't get their cut, and I doubt they were collecting sales tax if it was a legal business.
Chief, are these high performance? Are they, I mean,
They'll go 35 miles an hour.
Well, actually, we had some out there that would do up to 70, 80 miles an hour. And Chris knows a lot about it because he's a wrench guy. So, but they do some things to these bikes that are unbelievable. So, and hey, listen, I want to tell you something too. This guy's great. We got a great CHP captain, and he proved this weekend that he just doesn't talk the talk, he walks the walk.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
that's awesome.
I appreciate that very much.
That's awesome.
Again, the second constituent complaint out of Kathleen Barger's office, that's a T8 at 52nd Street. Numerous off-highway vehicles are using T8 as a throughway to get to various open lands to ride these bikes. And according to the resident, whose understandably his patience has been exceeded for quite some time, it's a nuisance. It's loud. They've got horses and plenty of equestrian riders out there, and they spook the horses. And he's concerned that eventually somebody's going to get spooked off the horse and get injured, as well as it keeps them up late at night as they're coming in all hours of the evening. So we have been responsive to that complaint, so we're keeping track of every time we get out there. We're documenting arrests, citations, verbal warnings, and so forth. And we're taking the stance, since this has been going on for quite a while, with some education first. We were out there last night. Father and young daughter were out there doing what they have been doing for quite a while, and they live locally in the neighborhood. So we're going to use it as an educational, from an educational standpoint at first before we start impounding those vehicles. And that's about it for me, unless you have some questions.
I'm sorry, could I get your name again, please?
Sure, James Richards.
Thank you very much, Captain.
Thank you.
Just a question, is there anything we can be doing to help you?
I would say maybe in the not too distant future, myself and my lieutenant have been working on a proposal to increase the staffing. So we say that we're going to be at full staff, but that guide strength was established 30 or 40 years ago. And now that there's an increased amount of population and vehicle traffic here in the Palmdale, Lancaster area, I would submit that, we're going to submit a proposal to increase staffing from our current guide strength. And at that point, if that's something that you guys could support, that would be greatly appreciated.
I think so, and, help get more, and also think of us as a liaison too, for the community to go out and help garner support from community organizations. Perfect.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I don't think we have the district attorney representative here today. So public safety update, Chief Armelin, or,
Yeah, since the chief's gonna handle it.
okay.
The lesser handsome one is going to handle it today.
Well, you don't have as good a haircut, but that's okay.
First, I want to introduce two of our new officers. We have Matt Rodriguez and Garrett Cole. Matt comes to us from Ventura County Sheriff's after 16 years. He was an investigator and he was Officer of the Year. And he's assigned to our Special Projects team. And then Garrett Cole, he's from Bakersfield, 3.5 years experience, hundreds of arrests, and he is a new motor officer for us. So we're glad to have both of you here. Matt actually was raised in Lancaster. He has extended family in Lancaster. So this is home, and he's been commuting a long ways for a long time. So he's excited to be back as well. So Cole, doesn't live in Lancaster, but he is definitely a desert guy. And so we're happy to have Cole as well. They're both great additions to our team, and they're already just meshed with the team really well. So, and on fire to get at it. So welcome, guys.
Well, thank you and welcome.
Welcome. Pleasure, thank you.
So our sign on Sierra Highway, I'm sure a lot of you saw it. It made a lot of social media splash. And we got a lot of feedback on social media claiming that it was just show, that there was nothing that was actually happening. And then 24 hours later, we woke everybody up. So we conducted an operation Friday, I believe, and we educated a lot of members of the public. We conducted several traffic stops. We only issued 2 citations that morning. But in the 4 hours of stopping cars, a lot of people were informed of the law, informed that we're out here and that we are now enforcing. Reception was exceptional. Even the 2 people who got cited, I believe, were thanking our officers for being out there. So it's very welcomed by the public, and since then the response has been very positive. So definitely what the community wanted, definitely what the community wants to continue. So we're going to keep pushing on that. As was mentioned by the captain, we did engage in the operation this weekend. It was successful. We ended up taking, I think, 4 mini bikes and a go-kart, 6 mini bikes and a go-kart off the street. And actually, before we went in, we saw they were actually on the streets doing donuts, racing up and down. So they were good, but we had good engagement with several of the adults that were there. These are both juveniles and adults all mixed. They all ride, they all have different parts of it. And we're working with the fairgrounds and with Los Angeles right now to create a space for cars to meet up, do some burnouts, do some maybe 8th mile strip racing. And now we're working also with those same groups to do something for the mini bikes and the pocket bikes to be able to do the same type of thing. So a meetup, be able to do the 8th mile, that kind of stuff too. So we're looking to flip this to a positive community engagement opportunity hosted really by us, CHP and the sheriffs. We want kids to have fun. We want families to get together and do these kinds of things, but we want it to be done safely, and on the streets absolutely is not the safe way to do it. So we're going to be zero tolerance on the streets doing these illegally, but we're absolutely going to support legal ways for families to enjoy these types of activities. Anything else, Chief?
it's pretty interesting to see some of the social media comments and some of the scanner stuff and all that. And I just want the public to know that we're in it for the long haul. And if you have an expectation that us putting a sign out is the only effort it's going to take to get rid of what's probably 40 years of prostitution, no, it isn't. And if you need to have time to get your comedy hour through social media, feel free. But we're coming out to solve the problem, help the young ladies, cite, arrest the folks who go there to solicit prostitution. And I also want the public to know that, you know, some of our approaches are going to be zero tolerance. And that has to happen, unfortunately, but we're always going to do an education piece. That's what we're doing right now with traffic, because we started our traffic enforcement. Most of it is stopping and warning, so folks have a chance to correct the misbehavior, but that's going to be followed by some very strict enforcement. So, but we're going to always work with the public or anyone else to try and help them live as we should live in this great valley. So, just wanted to pass that on.
To touch on that, some of the comments, a lot of the comments are, why aren't you helping them instead? And we're talking about the prostitution. Why aren't you helping with resources instead of enforcement? We are. We have joined with a lot of community-based organizations, and we've been bringing resources out to them. So I want the public to know we absolutely are engaging in resources. We're trying very hard to connect these ladies with resources and get them out of this line of work altogether. So it's a whole complete package here. It's not just enforcement.
Yeah, thank you. I think there's a lot of public education needed. That, you know, this is not like Pretty Woman. These are people who are abused, forced into it, often into drug addiction and other things to keep them victimized in this way, and it's not a joke. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, actually, for Chief and you, have you thought about, this is myself, but have you thought about the regards to mini bike problem? Have you thought about to create, you know, some kind of a reward program, the voluntary turn in, you know, and to give us some kind of a, you know, some shopping cards or cash reward cards. You have to run by city council with that. You know, the county's doing it, LAPD is doing it, that they illegal, non-registered the assault weapons, you know. There's a time for that, even on the sheriff station's doing it, and they have a great success with that program.
Sure.
So how about the running the program like that and have them voluntary turn in, you know?
Yeah, it's certainly
So,
something for us to
yeah,
look at.
that's a
It's an
program.
interesting idea.
That's my thought, anyway.
Yeah.
And I have one more question, and a long time ago, I think it's sometime last year, you brought, Jeff, you brought the canister, you know, remember that, the canister?
Yeah.
And they inhale it and they get high?
The nitrous oxide that's
Yeah.
being used, yeah.
And I know, and at that time, Chip said, and they're gonna do some kind of a, you know, the operation and to smoke shops. I don't know, we never had like a report back. Reason I'm asking, and there's a couple of times I reported using the city app to, you know, to take a picture of the homeless people they passed out in the parking lot and the middle of the driveway. I noticed that they use, it's called a NOS, right? Am I correct?
Correct.
It's a name, NOS, and they have them all, and so obviously they got high. They got it from somewhere, so I assume that's from the local illegal smoke shops.
I think at one time, and Chief and Assistant Chief, when I brought this in, it's been one of those thorn in my sides about this, and we had many, many conversations. The nitrous oxide that's being sold as, this is canisters that are being sold for whipped cream, and they're in smoke shops, and then, you know, so, and I know the individual that was going in and buying maybe 5 a day. And then it got to be 40 a week, and sometimes the little ones, they were doing 200 a day. And never understood why, you know, smoke shops were allowed to put those type of products on the shelf. And I think at one time when we were in the midst of this, and a lot of things have happened obviously the growth of your department and everything else, is that one of the things that the city was looking at maybe realigning an ordinance at one time and changing the ordinance. And I don't think, in going back and being, and Howard, and I could attest to being in this business sometimes and having tenants come in for buildings and commercial buildings and want a smoke shop, there wasn't a strong ordinance that basically said, this is what you can do and this is what you can't do. This is the stuff you can have and you can't have. You know, I remember years ago, we were talking about the potpourri. Remember, that was the biggest issue. And that was being sold to kids in the potpourri, and I'm going, what? And they were smoking that, and that became, why are they selling it in smoke shops? Here we are again, and I'm just wondering, and Jim, I'm glad you brought it up, because it's been one of those things that I keep seeing, and I'm not classifying all smoke shops, I'm saying there's an issue with nitrous oxide and these canisters, and you remember seeing some of those canisters on the size of them. Why? You know, and yet they're selling them in these smoke shops, and I remember going around into some of these smoke shops, and what's this stuff for? And just kind of get some information. Basically, they would tell me, oh, well, you know, it's for whipped cream. Well, I don't remember them being in the restaurant business either, you know.
They don't sell any other baking supplies.
Yeah, that's exactly right,
Using
yeah.
it for
Where's
the
can you give you some
decoration
spatulas to go along with it?
Yeah.
So basically, I'm kind of curious on where it's at, or is something maybe already been done, and maybe has, that a new smoke shop comes in, or can you go in on these smoke shops there's some that don't do it, they say, and then there's others that have this product on the shelf that says that basically it was for, a lot of times they were using nitrous oxide for the race cars, you know, and but if you read these canisters, it basically says they have all different flavors and for whipped cream dispensing, and I'm just going, so I'm glad you brought that up, Jim, because that's always been an issue. I'm not sure if an ordinance has been changed or the city has come across something that said, hey, we're not going to allow smoke shops to sell nitrous oxide, you know?
So I
And
do
that's
know,
just one little issue.
I do know the city was working on changing an ordinance to address that. That falls within code enforcement, which is community preservation, so I can certainly find out where we are and get back to you on.
That'd be great, yeah.
Unless Chief, you have an update.
We have done some enforcement. We've hit some smoke shops and gone in. One, in fact, not too far from here on 10th. We hit shortly after that. And it's not just the nitrous oxide. These smoke shops are also, they'll put cannabis in kind of like childlike packages of candy and things. So that's another reason that they've become a target for us. We are juggling the smoke shop enforcement with the massage parlors and the indoor grows and as of late, some of the violence, which, and trying to work with our brothers with the sheriff's department and saying, hey, we need to identify some of these things. So they are not forgotten, that's for sure. We recently had or I say the sheriff's department had a location where a robbery had taken place, and it was a smoke shop. And so now we have our eyes on that location, not going to interfere with their investigation because it was significant robbery, but we are in talks, and once they're clear, we're gonna take a look at that place. So yeah, they're definitely not forgotten, and locations that we do want to address, get cleaned up. Those places are a problem because when you go into them, and like you said, Jeff, I think you walked into a couple. They sell brass knuckles.
Absolutely.
You name it.
Yep.
So the good thing is Community Development Director Patty Garibay and I meet weekly now, and those are places that we're talking about how we're going to deal with those as well. So we're not letting, if I can say it, we're not letting those folks off the hook who are running those places in an inappropriate manner.
And Chief, just to add to that, trust me, I know when I brought this up, what you did, sir, and Assistant Chief here, so I understand what you've done, up and above beyond, so I understand it's an ongoing thing, so, and, appreciate everything you're doing.
Oh, no, we're
Yeah.
gonna keep going, and thank you for bringing it up, Commissioner Hurd, because,
It just came to my attention when I take a picture report it to the city ad, and so, these guys all have their canisters right next to them. That means
yeah.
they
yeah.
inhale it, get high, you know?
Yeah, if you get a chance, Google LA Sheriff's Department, No Laughing Matter. That was that operation that my team did back when I was a lieutenant, and we hit, I think it was somewhere around 30 of those. The ones that were selling them, we hit like 30 locations that were selling them like they were nitrous. They were selling them like they were nitrous for a car. They were
Right.
posing as auto parts places.
Yeah.
And they were just selling it to kids. It was crazy, down in LA, really. So,
And then I'll get a current status for you for next meeting.
yeah,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, elected official updates. I don't see our reps there. I know some of them are having staff retreats. So if we don't have any of those folks,
If I could add,
well, I know we have Deputy Mayor Sean Cannon is here to say a few words.
So, good morning, or afternoon almost, commissioners, staff. I'm not here as your deputy mayor for this part of the agenda. I'm here as a school board member for the Eastside Union Trustee, Board of Trustees. My trustee area is from J8 to K4, from 20th East to 30th East. And on the first day of school, after school, we had an accident involving one of our school buses from Cole Middle School. No one was hurt or injured, but when I arrived on the scene, it happened right outside my house. When I arrived on the scene, when school staff, when district staff rushed to the scene, our CHP was already there. Our sheriff's department was already there, handling traffic, handling the situation. It makes us feel safer as a district, it makes our students feel safer, and it makes our parents feel safer. So I wanted to come here and to thank the Sheriff's Department and CHP for the work that they're doing. It makes us all feel safer. When a call goes out that our kids might be in trouble, they show up. That's important. That makes our community safer. That's the reason why we see those stats down there. I also wanted to say that I'm here to be a resource to help with the education around seatbelts. My 4-year-old son, who's in kindergarten right now, reminds me to put my seatbelt on. So if we can get some 8th graders and some 7th graders and some 6th graders to remind their parents to put their seatbelts on, to have that in their head when they get in the car, and to shame their parents, that'd be great. And then also, I just also wanted to say that we have lost in this community, in Lancaster, students as young as 7th grade who were riding these mini bikes. So however we can help in those efforts, the efforts that you guys are building for the track and for the place to do the car meets and things like that, count us in, count me in, and I will continue to advocate. I'll continue to coordinate, especially for resource officers. So thank you so much, and I'll come here as often as I can to keep you guys updated on what we're doing to keep the kids safe at Eastside Union.
And you said that the drivers and all the kids were okay from that?
Yes, the bus drivers were okay. The driver of the car, it was it was an accident, but it was a minor accident. This was a side swipe, but I loved that they came right out and forced to protect the kids. So that's important.
Grateful everybody's okay, and it's great to hear what a good job our law enforcement continues to do. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Chairman Mercy, over here.
Oh,
Real quick, I asked Deputy Mayor Barton if she would come up and talk about the homeless numbers. We've had some success in that area. And then I have one more thing to add after that.
okay, wonderful, thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. I do want to share some great news about homelessness in the Antelope Valley. The 2025 homeless count shows a 41% reduction in homelessness in Lancaster. We also have an increase of individuals that are going into shelter. There was some speculation about if that was due to migration and just pushing people out. So we did also run the numbers. All of LA County is actually down at this time, so we are getting more people into housing. So I just really wanted to share that success, and a big thank you to Lancaster and a lot of the new innovations. We also know that Lancaster's count is very accurate because of the coordination with the Lancaster PD drone program. And they did also assist with some of the areas outside of Lancaster, all of Service Planning Area 1, parts of Service Planning Area 2, and all of the National Forest areas were counted in collaboration with our drone program. Thank you.
Great job, yeah.
Great
Great job.
Great to hear.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And Heather's been fantastic working with us and representing LASA and helping us get partnerships so that we can get people off the streets. So we really appreciate it. And then I don't think the assistant chief mentioned, if he did, I apologize, that we are now in the school resource officer business. We have our first school resource officer assigned to the Westside Union School District. And they are contracting with us for 2 officers. I'm excited because the first officer, Adam Olinger, was an educator in Lancaster. And he's doing well in there and connecting with his kids. And we are processing our second officer, who will be a female officer. So we're really excited about that. We're talking with Sean and the superintendent and taking a look at their school district now. And Sean's been extremely helpful with us in trying to see how we can help at some of their schools. So this is just good things just happening all the way around. So
It's good to hear.
Can we have Deputy Goofy back on the, does he has a lead on the
Oh. Yes, Deputy Groupie?
Yes, sir. Just, sorry to interrupt. I got an update from our crime analyst at the station in regards to Commissioner Herr's question about Sierra Highway and Avenue G. The answer was that there's a large property with a trailer with a Connex box and numerous vehicles. In June, there were several stolen vehicles, thefts, and a burglary that occurred at that property. So that was the answer as far as why it was read.
existing mobile home park and there's something they created?
There's a trailer out there with a Connex container, and there were several stolen vehicles. So, and each time you have a stolen vehicle or a recovery, it generates that stat. So that's probably why it was bright red there. All right, thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay. We are now at public business from the floor, non-agendized items.
This is a time to address the Lancaster Criminal Justice Commission on non-agendized matters. Speaker cards can be found on the back table of the council chambers. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each unless a different time limit is announced. State law prohibits the commission from taking action on items not listed on the agenda. Thank you.
Okay. We have David Paul. Welcome back, sir.
Chair Mercy and Commissioners, good morning. You know, this was a pretty good meeting. There was a lot of good news here and a lot of going over things. And Captain Richards, your joy of pursuit was delightful, sir. So thank you. And I feel like that all the time. You know, it's absolutely great. Last night I couldn't sleep. I made the mistake on Netflix. It's leaving soon, so I watched American Gangster with Denzel Washington, and it goes round and round and round. But that's what makes me so happy to be here, because I know how much you all put into this and how much it takes away from the other regular life you're supposed to be having, and I appreciate that. And mainly, I'm up here just to say thank you to everyone, because it makes me feel good to know that we're actually working this problem. And that's all I really wanted to say. It's I love our city, and I appreciate everything everyone does. So thank you all.
Thank you,
Okay,
David.
thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Appreciate your participation at these meetings. Next up, we have Marcos Alvarez.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Marcos Alvarez, captains. It's an honor to be here because I'm supposed to be home recovering from COVID. I'm 5 days in, so I'm in recovery mode. I already took the negative test. And I felt compelled to come here before I go to work, right? Mr. Herr, Commissioner, you brought up an interesting point about nitrous oxide, right? Am I pronouncing that right? And I was doing a little research on it, and the loophole, as I understand it from the outside looking in, is if I go to a smoke shop right now, their response is gonna be because they use it for culinary reasons. So, and I know you mentioned it, well, that's their gateway to keep selling it. So I'm wondering if there's data of how many of these smoke shops continue to sell them. And number two, I believe it's the state that gives them that license and holds them accountable on whether they should be selling that legally or not. And I say this because I have a 23-year-old and I have a 18-year-old, and lucky for me, they never touch drugs, right? But that brings to motion of a lot of these teenagers out here do that because they say there's nothing else to do out here. And that doesn't make it right. But what I'm saying is, who are we gonna hold accountable to stop that loophole? To sell it in a way where it's not dangerous to our children. So I'm hoping you can say anything about that so we can come with some concrete results, eliminating these altogether smoke shops to sell them because of that very fine loophole of culinary. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I always forget what the Brown Act rules are on.
I can meet with them.
Yeah, because I know there's some Brown Act limits in terms of engaging them back and forth with.
Can I just
public
meet
comment.
with you after meeting, sir? Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Okay, next up, we have commissioner comments.
Good. Nope.
I'm good.
Okay, good, okay, none for me. Okay, then, if there's no objection, we will adjourn to our next